Hey there friends, welcome to Izzo's Place. Thirsty Thursday, finally doing the long review. Technically it's not Thirsty Thursday anymore Eastern time, but you know what? We still have Central, we still have Pacific, we still have other places. So let's go ahead and do this and get it released. So if you saw the short, new Riff single barrel. It is Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This particular one was picked by SLB Drinks, a YouTuber that I follow. So it was distilled in May 2019. It was bottled in August of 2023. So what is that, 4 years? So it's 4 years old. Oop, don't look at the tasting notes, silly boy. A new riff on an old tradition. Each new riff barrel is singular in personality and flavor, selected for quality and complexity. Bottled at barrel proof and without chill filtration, we preserve the character of the barrel all the way to your glass. Aged at least 4 years. And this one, apparently, according to those dates, it was aged literally 4 years. Let me see, do they have months on there? May to August. May 19 to August of 2023. So 4 years. 4 years and 3 months. So 4¼ years. So that's pretty good. Bottled, aged, and distilled, aged, and bottled it by New Riff Distilling, Newport, Kentucky. You can check them out at newriffdistilling.com. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. 113.4 proof, so alcohol by volume is 56.7%. It is barrel 19124, in case you can find it. You might not be able to though. So far I have 5 or 6 of these. I don't have. I think this is the only barrel pick that I have. So the rest, I've gotten from stores and stuff. I've enjoyed them all. They've all been good. You'll eventually see the reviews on here, and probably a blind battle between them. But yeah, so new Riff barrel. So let's see what we get. I get it like right on the front. I get a hint of maple. There's some cloves hiding in the background. That's a really nice nose. Alright, I'm going to take a quick look at what their notes are and see if I agree or not. Aroma, sweet, bubblegum. So what I'm calling maple, like a sweet maple, they're calling bubblegum. Sorry, man, I'm always coughing in these things. Sorry about that. I've been working too hard. I have a chronic cough that shows up when I'm working too hard, so if I rest for a few days, it'll go away. Mostly. So, I don't get bubblegum, but the maple sweetness I get is probably what they're translating into bubblegum. So maple and cloves for me. It's very, very nice smell though. So it comes and it keeps a little bit of that sweetness, but then it gets spicy on the palate. There's not a big hug despite it being a little bit higher in proof. I was sipping on this just a little bit before the video. I was watching a TV show, so maybe I'm already acclimated to it. I guess I do remember a hug on the first pour that I did. Can't identify the sweet yet. To me, the spicy is like a taco spice packet. If you're making some tacos and you're browning the meat and they have that, you can buy those packets of taco seasoning. It's kind of what it is, like that, but with some black pepper mixed in. So quite a bit of spice, but it's not so intense. It's like not overpowering or anything. It's just kind of like, hey, I'm here, I'm spicy. Let's go back into the nose again. See if anything changes. So yeah, still that light sweetness. For me, it's maple. For them, it was bubblegum. Cloves are still hanging out in the back, so that's like a baking spice. So that might be, that's what might be what I'm tasting on the palate then. So sweetness is, there's a good hook there. So the sweetness in the palate, the maple converts to like a vanilla. So I'm smelling maple, but when I tasted it, it was more like a vanilla sweetness. And I think the taco seasoning pack was too an intense a description. I think it's more like the baking spices that I noted. So the cloves kind of turn into baking spices for me. And that's the kind of spice I think I'm talking about. And then the black pepper's more like on the back as it's heading down. So the spices aren't quite together. They're like just a little bit separate. Doesn't smell like maple on the third sniff, or whatever many sniffs this is. I can kind of get their bubblegum note. It smells like an old Bazooka Joe bubblegum. That's funny. Yeah, it doesn't smell like maple anymore now that I'm acclimating. Seems to be the kind of pour you can do all day. Eventually when I get the speakeasy done, I do want to turn these things into cocktails, but that's not happening tonight. Plus it's late. I need to go to bed. I've technically slept in 6 states in the last 3 days because I had to keep pulling over and taking snoozes at rest stops while I was driving from Texas to Naples. So technically slept in 6 states in the last 3 days. It's nice to be home. Oh, that's so funny. Hey, Bazooka Joe. So you got generic vanilla sweetness, then it goes spicy, and the spicy, so I've been saying baking spices. I'd say the cloves are there, a little bit of cinnamon. What am I tasting? Cloves, cinnamon. There's something else in there. I'm not placing it though. Then the black pepper as it heads down the palate, down the throat. So I personally think these new Riff are I haven't had one yet that I haven't liked. So they seem to be fairly common on the shelves, at least like their single barrel stuff and a rye whiskey. So some ones that you'll see reviews of down the road. So if you ever see a single barrel, I think it's probably worth it. Let me give you a real quick OHLQ check and see what you should be paying for it. New Riff. A friend of mine went and took the tour and enjoyed it. He had a tasting and picked me up a single barrel rye while she was there. So one of these days I'll get to. One of these days I'll get to the distillery. Okay, we got the new Riff single barrel bourbon whiskey. So how much should we be paying for this? Now, granted, like I said, mine was a pick from a YouTuber, so it was a little more expensive, and I had to pay shipping. So this thing should be right around $50. OHLQ has it for $52.99. So if you can get it for $50-$60, I think it's an excellent bottle for that. Let's look at these other varieties. Oops, where'd my search go? New Riff. Boy, I just can't type. I'm fat fingering all over the place. All right, so we got the new Riff single barrel bourbon whiskey. All right, so there's a malted rye, which I found very tasty. That's $65. It's a 6-year-old rye. Review will be coming. And it keeps, I just want to search again. I hit the back button and it makes me type it in again. It's very annoying. Okay, so that's the malted rye. Malted rye I would definitely recommend. Let's see what this new Riff single barrel is. Is this what I got? This is just what I had before. So there may be another variety. So this is a new Riff single barrel Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and then this one's just bourbon whiskey, which I need to look up and find out what the difference between straight whiskey or straight bourbon whiskey or straight bourbon. I need to find out what the straight means, what they're talking about when they say that. All right, new Riff. What other options do we have? Oh, here we go. I messed that up. Let me do that search again. Because I forgot. I'm just clicking on stuff. But I can click. Oh, I thought I could click on them. Oh, well, let's click on the rye whiskey. So we got the new Riff rye whiskey. That one I know should be pretty available in most markets. $46, so that's pretty cool. So they give us other similar products. Give us similar products, so I don't have to keep searching. So yeah, new Riff single barrel, just a regular single barrel's 52. New Riff bourbons 42. New Riff single barrel rye. So that starts getting up there. It's $58. New Riff Balboa rye. That one's very good. Someone gifted me one of those. $55, but an excellent pour. New Riff winter whiskey. That's one that I'll have to look out for. New Year malted rye 6-year-old. That one's very good. I had that. That's $65. Okay, and then we're getting into other stuff. So so that gives me something to look for in the new Riff. So I'm looking for the winter whiskey. View details. No image. $55. 100 proof. Not available. Sort by availability. There's one in Centerville, Ohio. How far away is that? That's 200 miles away. So not chasing that one down anytime out. Maybe the only place in Ohio that has it right now. So if you're near Centerville, Ohio, and you want to pick up Izzo a bottle of New Riff Winter Whiskey, I will just email me at heyizzo@yahoo.com. I will negotiate something. Let's go ahead and give it one more nose and palate. And then maybe I'll read out. Oh man, we're back to maple. That's crazy. And it's like maple syrup now. So the bubble gum's gone. We're back to maple. Noses and palates are so funny. So I almost have the bubblegum on the palate now. Oh, let's see what they got on the palate. I forgot about that. So they were getting... The palate is smoky, lengthy, and cinnamon. Okay, so I caught the cinnamon note that they were thinking. Smoky. You know what? Smoky would be that taco seasoning pack, wouldn't it? That would have... So I'm getting some similar notes to what they had. That's fun. It smells completely different this time. What on earth? The maple's gone again. Bazooka Joe's back. But now there's a smoke with it. See, and sometimes people tell you tasting notes, and it warps your brain. It really does. It's so weird, but so fun. I think that's part of why I'm fascinated by this collection that I have. It still comes in sweet, so I think what it's doing, it's like because I can recognize that cinnamon note now. It's almost like a heavy frosted cinnamon roll coming in, but then only being like that briefly. Then it goes spicy. Then it's like more intense cinnamon, cloves, and then it turns into black pepper as it goes down. So it's a neat little guy. So I don't know. Let's see. This one wasn't a gift, right? No, I paid for this one. So this was $55, I believe. $52.99 is what I paid for. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, this is a YouTuber pick. So stupid thing after tax and shipping was $100, and I gave him a tip too. But I guess if you take off the tip, you take off the tax, you take off the shipping, probably the original price was pretty close to that $53. So I think if you see yourself a single barrel, I'd say go ahead and try it. Now, if you try it, if it's a price that suits you, if you try it and you love it, my suggestion is go back to the store, and as long as it's in your budget, find the same barrel. And if you go back to the store and they still have them, probably came from the same shipment. So you can go back, and if it's something you just love, go buy 2 or 3 bottles, and then you're set for a long time having that particular whiskey that you enjoy. And then and as long as you're not a maniac like me or doing it for a YouTube channel, 4 bottles of this would last you for a long time. So so that's always my suggestion. If you find something you like, do your best to get a couple, and do your best to get a couple like right then, because the taste profile should be as close as it's going to be to whatever that is that you found that you liked about the whiskey. But there'll be more new Riffs reviews coming out soon, and probably a blind fairly soon too. I just need to work out the logistics and see who wants to join me. If you're over 21 and you wanted to join me virtually for a blind tasting, please email me at heyizzo@yahoo.com, and we can work out something. I could send you some small samples, and we could do a blind over Zoom or something together. And you can either be on camera or you can be off camera, whatever you prefer. But that's all I got for you today. If you're working, work safely. Try to get a little more rest than I do before you go working. But if you're working, work safely. If you're drinking whiskey, drink responsibly, and do everything with a little bit of whimsy. You're going to have a good time. All right, I'll talk to you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place.